Hi guys, welcome back to the dbPTCast with your hosts Cade and
Darren Baker, the father of Cade. And it's exciting today, we have a special guest.
little guest star, Harriett.
The warrior princess. We welcome Harriett Renolds. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
Hi guys!
Hi guys.
Who knows?
So, how's your week been, Cade?
It's not been too bad, to be honest. It's been quite quiet because it's come up to the end of the school break.
Right.
So there's a teacher training day, I think. So a lot of the parents of our clients have gone away to be with their kids. So it's been quite quiet, and it'll be quite quiet for the following week. Mm-hmm. But today we have a little special guest in, Harry. And we've been talking about this for weeks, trying to get her on so she can have a chat about things. And then that's about it for me. What about you, Dad?
Same really, it's been a busy week. I did hear something interesting. Did you know that 900, I think it was last year, 2017, 900 morbidly obese people were removed from houses by fire crews. So firemen had to remove 900 morbidly obese people.
Because they couldn't get out of their house.
No, but the interesting thing is we can solve this problem. If we build them gingerbread houses and move them in there, they can all eat themselves out.
True.
And it would save the taxpayer a fortune.
And they potentially kill themselves in the process.
But
They'll either have a heart attack from too much sugar,
yeah,
or their house would just cave in on them.
but do you think the money it would save? Just build them a gingerbread house, let them move in there, and
Be a world shortage in sugar,
that's it.
save a few lives.
But other than that, it's been a busy week. Nothing super exciting to talk about, I don't think. Harriet, how's your week been?
Again, nothing super exciting. Work and all the fitness stuff that I'm doing. Bit of pole fit, bit of running, bit
I
of
saw that on
gym.
Instagram. Is it, no, Snapchat?
Facebook.
I've got both wrong. Facebook. You swing around on a pole.
Yeah, it's really good. I like climbing.
So what
to
does
the
it
top.
consist of? Tell us a bit about.
It's a lot of core strength.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then I like climbing to the top. They won't let me to swing upside down yet.
Oh, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you do that.
And it's pole fitness, so it's not like daddy issues pole dancing.
Right.
Even though the caption of your post was
This is
daddy issues.
This is not the start of a new career then.
No.
Bit of money on the side, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Harriet does many things. She's quite active. So we'll start about that. So I met Harriet about 2 years ago, and she was on a treadmill. It was a typical female thing at the time. She's on a treadmill, and I got chatting to her, and she'd never done any form of resistance training, and we had a chat about that. But what I found interesting with Harriet is she was a celiac, and what I liked about Harriet is when I asked about it, she was all positivity and no negativity. She was telling me she didn't tell me what she can't eat, she told me more what she can eat. And at the time I said to Harriet, I said, can you sort of write a little diary for me and give me a little bit of information about being a celiac, because I'm very interested in that. And she come in with like a school report, a great big report for me, with all about being a celiac, and I really appreciated that. And then shortly after that, Harriet actually hired me as a personal trainer, and we introduced her to weights and weight training, and a sort of journey started from there. And now you're doing all sorts, aren't you?
Yeah.
So she still does weight training, and she's involved in many other things. But that's how we initially met 2 years ago, and we thought it'd be a good podcast today, as Harriet is so positive about being a celiac. We thought it'd be a good subject for people to listen to. So that is the topic of today's podcast: is autoimmune diseases, basically.
Very interesting. So we've covered quite a few topics so far, but this is something we haven't really touched on yet, so we thought it would be a great one to talk about.
So let's make a little start. So celiac is an autoimmune disease. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Harriet? What it is? Can you break it down for us?
So I don't like to call it a disease, more of a condition.
Yeah.
So,
No one wants a disease,
no one
do
wants
they?
a disease.
Leprosy.
Yeah. You like it?
Celiac disease, it's not an allergy and it's not an intolerance. It is basically, when I eat gluten, my immune system starts attacking me. So it starts killing the B line in my gut, which then stops me catching all my nutrients, my minerals, and everything that I need, I can't get if I eat gluten.
So actually, it affects the smaller intestine, doesn't it? So I think where it actually affects the smaller intestine has an effect there. But so gluten is a protein, isn't it?
It's a
proteins.
protein found like in your wheat, barley, and rye are the main things. that you can't eat.
So it's just a protein, and basically when you eat it, your body sees it as an enemy as such and fights against it.
My body starts making antibodies, which you would do normally when you get a cold or you get a virus. You make antibodies to protect you. So my body thinks it's protecting me when I'm eating gluten, but it's really not. It's then destroying my gut.
Right.
It's killing the villi.
Right, that's right, in the lower intestine.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay, so again, why I liked you and wanted you on the podcast, and you are our first guest as well, so congratulations, you.
Yeah, well, I mean, Leo's been on.
Leo's been on, actually the second guest.
Yeah,
he didn't say a lot.
He kind of just sniffed the microphone and left.
And then pissed on the floor and left.
Yeah,
that was pretty much it.
I promise I won't do that today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little while. Yeah,
Please don't.
that could happen.
Don't give me milk.
Yeah, because you're lactose intolerant as well. But so, just while you mention that, lactose intolerance does come hand in hand to an extent with celiacs, doesn't it?
Yeah, they didn't bother telling me that, the dietitian.
Right.
They just let me figure that one out after years of pain. But yeah, most celiacs have got lactose intolerance as well, and then you sub with other things like IBS. It's just your body doesn't like food when I really love food. But it's cutting out all the crap. It's just not eating rubbish food. My body doesn't want rubbish food anymore. Like I told you, I'm trying not to eat sweets because sweets are not agreeing with me anymore.
No.
I think stuff like that's quite complex for your stomach to digest anyway.
Yeah.
So a lot of carbohydrates are so hard for the stomach to handle that single ingredient foods are quite easy.
Yeah, I'm great. Like when we do the cutting, my body's fantastic. And then and because I'm eating all good food, I cook everything from scratch, and there's no processed food in my diet.
Well, because you are celiac, you would imagine that you're going to be more sensitive to things anyway, naturally. So if you eat some junk foods as such, it is going to have more of an effect on you than other foods. So okay, talking that subject, let's stick with food. We know you can't eat gluten, which is we know is a protein, and that's commonly in wheat, but other products. So what other products can we find it in? So wheat,
barley, and rye.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can break it down, so you get, I think it's like semolina and stuff like that. So couscous, it's all in there.
Okay.
Things you wouldn't think it'd be in, but it is.
So commonly for our listeners, where would you find it commonly? So the big things you need to restrict:
bread, pasta, flour. You get it in things like sausages, or cheap burgers, because they put flour in to bind it all together and to thicken it up.
Right.
And some of your thick cut chips, they put wheat in those to thicken them up. Yeah.
That's interesting. And where would you not expect to find it? Where think of somewhere that you've actually found it and think, oh my god, I didn't.
Crab sticks.
Crab sticks. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You think crab sticks? They are literally cut with all different stuff, though, aren't they? It's not crab.
Yeah, it's not actually crab.
It's whitefish.
I started looking at ingredients things, and it put me off a lot of food because I was like, oh my god, this is not even what you think it is.
No, because I'm not sure this is correct information, but I believe even Play-Doh may have gluten in it, because Play-Doh children can eat, and I think there's some kind of, I'll have to look at that one. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Play-Doh even might contain gluten.
What's the problem with Play-Doh? If you've seen any adverts, they're always doing like dessert, make your own pizza. They're asking
children
for
eat
it.
them.
Yeah, they're asking for it. Make your own ice cream, and they look good. That shit looks tasty.
But you can eat Play-Doh, I believe. That's why. But I think you can eat it if you're not celiac.
They made it so it's edible, but you shouldn't eat it.
Not gluten-free.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's not gluten-free. No eating Play-Doh.
Oh.
Harriett.
It smells quite nice, but the taste is just not that good, is it?
That's like eating crayons. They don't taste good.
Yeah, but I've never eaten crayon, have you?
Maybe.
Oh, God.
You're a child, just ignore them.
So how did you find out that you were celiac? Was it something you've had all your life, or how did you actually find out?
So when I was younger, I used to always suffer with my stomach quite a bit, and I could never work out why. And I never really thought about it, and I always thought I was asymptomatic. When I was 18, I was in the army. I fainted on one of my exercises. I went to the top of the hill, and I was robbed the back of my head, and went back down. And my bombardier, she was really worried about how pale I always am. So she sent me for a blood test and found out I was anaemic, which I've always been anaemic, but it was quite low.
Right.
So they put me on iron tablets, tested me again 2 months later. My iron levels had gone down. So they put me on stronger iron tablets and the max dose, and it's going on for like 2 years. And after 2 years, they turned around and was like, something's wrong here. We're putting you on stronger tablets and you're getting your count's less and less.
Right.
And yeah, they found out I had celiac then.
And how old were you then?
19.
19.
Yeah.
So it's quite a... It's a funny age to actually
It is,
find out
yeah,
your
it's
celiac
very
as well.
strange.
You're quite sensitive for that age. You're...
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when I first found out, I didn't know what I could eat. I tried not eating for a few days. I didn't go well. And then I've lived off like eggs and lettuce leaves for a couple of months.
So could that have been
'cause-
underlying for a while,
Yeah.
but you just
so
didn't realise?
there's new research out on celiacs, and it's to do with the genes that you have. So you can inherit them from your mother or your father or both of them. Which is quite funny because nobody in my family's ever heard of celiac before I was diagnosed with it. So I think I'm the milkman's. Sorry, Mum. With this gene, you can have it, but it can be underlying, and then something triggers it. And you can have a trigger celiacs or type 1 diabetes.
Right.
And it's an environmental factor that figures it, so a stressful event in your life. And
Wow.
yeah, that's the
That's
new research
interesting.
that's out for it.
Because type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they're pretty much on par, so you can go either way.
Right.
You can, with this gene, you can get celiacs or type
It's
1.
interesting.
That's really
And
interesting.
when I have children, they're quite likely to get thyroid problems, type 1 diabetes, or celiacs.
Really?
Yeah, very high chance of one of those three.
Because autoimmune diseases are booming though, aren't they? They're increasing.
I think a lot of illnesses now, like even cancer, it's all environmental factors. It's
Oh,
all what we're
100%
eating,
agree with you.
processed
It all goes
foods.
back to the food.
That's what
Yeah,
we're all about.
it's-
Yeah, it's the environment.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
with celiacs, a main thing is depression. That's obviously if you're eating a rubbish diet, you're killing your own beeline, your body. You're going to be depressed because it affects you in so many ways.
Well, again, we totally agree with it. We pretty much know now the gut is linked to the brain.
Yeah.
If your
Yeah.
gut's unhappy, the brain's unhappy. So if we can work and get the gut happier, then you're going to be happier.
Yeah,
We actually see that with our clients as well. You know, when you change someone's diet, you can actually physically see it. So no, it's interesting.
yeah, it's a big thing. Food is a big thing, and obviously for me, what I eat affects everything.
Of course it does. So, okay, to give some idea about what you do eat, I pretty much know you, but we have had this conversation a lot. But you pretty much just eat very good quality foods, don't you? And that is a simple way
Yeah,
for
so
you to look after yourself.
every now and then I'll treat myself and buy a bit of gluten-free bread. I begrudge paying £3 for this half a loaf. I never used to be a big bread eater anyway, or pasta eater, so I don't buy the gluten-free substitutes. So my dinner mainly is meat, vegetables. I'm not a big lover of potatoes. I am getting more and more into potatoes, but it's normally just meat and veg.
Can't really go wrong there, can you?
No, just make all my own stuff, learn how to use spices.
You'd be
and
creative.
sauces.
That's what we do. That's how we eat.
Yeah, so if I want a burger, I love portobello mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll make my own burger, or I'll buy the Asda's or Tesco's extra special ones because they're delicious.
Yeah.
And then I'll put portobello mushrooms instead of a burger bun.
Yeah, we have that. That's good.
And still really
it tastes so
filling
good.
and-
The mushroom tastes so nice
So juicy.
Yeah.
with the burger as well.
Yeah.
It's a great
Tastes
combination.
delicious.
Okay, so basically you eat very natural foods to an extent, and then
Yeah.
you haven't got and if you want a treat, you have a treat.
Yeah. And I buy like the gluten-free flour, so if I want pancakes, they taste exactly the same as normal pancakes. I bake all my own stuff, which tastes a hell of a lot better than normal food.
Yeah, of course.
I think so. I forgot what normal food tastes like now.
Okay, so what about the symptoms of celiacs? So some of the symptoms that you've experienced.
So you can go either way. You can get really bad constipation or really bad diarrhea, sickness, skin rashes. So I suffer with psoriasis as well when I get really stressed. I've not had it for quite a few years, but that's another thing that's caused by celiacs.
So your body literally just ejects.
Yeah.
Just,
Like,
the skin is the same thing,
your
yeah.
body's just like, no.
Yeah.
No way.
It does
no,
not
no
want
way,
it.
Jose. It comes out of everywhere.
Yeah, it does. Mouth ulcers. So when I was younger, I used to always suffer really bad with mouth ulcers.
Really, that's interesting. Yeah.
There's one gum thing that I had when I was younger. It's like a hole in my gum that was caused through stress. And it's all to do with celiac.
That's just you chewing on the inside of your
Probably.
mouth, most probably. Yeah, yeah, I like it. What about farting? You've been farting in places you shouldn't been recently?
If I eat gluten,
Yeah, just sneaky little.
Yeah, we're up. Sorry. Hold on, it's like, no, sorry, I'm a celiac.
This is
Can you get away with it? Can you actually can you actually do that? Fart on I apologise, I'm
Well,
celiac.
luckily I'm not quite that feminine, so if I fart, I'll be like, "You smell that, guys? That is me."
If that was me, I'd be doing it all the time. I'd just be farting in public saying, it's not my fault, I'm celiac.
I can't control
I've eaten
it.
something I shouldn't have, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're disabled then, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I've got a right.
I'm sorry, she's celiac. Just ignore her.
Yeah. Oh.
Took her out for the day.
Oh.
So is that pretty much it for the symptoms?
I think there's gonna be quite a few different
About
symptoms. So yeah, farting.
edema when you get you've had that on your leg. I remember your ankles.
Yeah,
been
my ankles
swollen,
keep
things like that.
swelling all through the summer. I still don't really know what it is.
Because I think edema is part of celiacs as well. You can get fluid build up through
Yeah.
it. So
But I've been really good. I don't eat gluten at all now. After an episode at TGI's with some chocolate cake.
Oh, God.
okay, so
Stay clear.
talking about that, we do like having a little bit of fun on our podcast. So where have you found gluten where you shouldn't have and been caught out? Let's have some stories.
To be fair, a few years ago, my symptoms were never that bad, so I would eat gluten still, and then I'd just go gluten free for 3 or 4 months, ready for my blood test, so the hospital would stay off my back and think that I was completely gluten free. And then after TGI's chocolate cake, it was really bad, and I decided that I can't do it anymore. Gluten has just finally given up on me.
Yeah. So, just thinking, so we have obviously I learned a lot from you. I'm not celiac and I've studied, but getting the information from you is far better than talking to the actual person that goes through it.
Definitely.
And we have other people, and we have quite a few young people. In fact, I was talking to a client today that has someone that's 7 years old, 7-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
That's just found out she's celiac. So, recommendations, any positivities or advice you could give people to make their life better with the way of eating as such, or
Don't feel sorry for yourself. That sounds a bit cruel, but
Too late
there's
for that.
loads of food. There's loads of food you can make, and food is delicious. You just have to relearn to like food. Because I used to be a really fussy eater. There's so many things I wouldn't eat, but then I started trying them. And I started adding new ways of cooking things, and it just made it really nice. You can take your own food to places. If you don't feel safe eating somebody else's food, take your own and explain to them. Say it's much better this way.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong, doesn't it?
Because you don't want to be at a barbecue and all your friends are having a good time and you're in pain. So I just take my own food now, and I'm fine with it, and my friends are all fine with it. Just explain to them why. And if they're real good friends, they'll actually understand, and your real good friends are going to see you eat your worst, so
Yeah, of course.
they're going to get it.
So it really is just healthy, nutritionally dense foods, basically, so vegetables and meats and things like that. If you stick with them, you can't go far wrong.
No, just make sure you get all your nutrients, because being celiac, you are malnourished, and the damage is there. Like, I had 19 years worth of damage, and then continued eating gluten, and I had my blood test done a couple of months ago, and for the first time in my life, I'm not anemic. And it's taken years and years to get my blood levels normal. So you don't want to go and ruin it again by having a little bit of gluten.
No, and you're still a good age, aren't you, where you can actually fix this. And obviously, the healthier you get your body, sometime you might consider having a child. And of course, the healthier you are as you go into pregnancy, the healthier the child's going to be.
Yeah.
So what you're doing now is actually having an effect
Yeah.
on potentially your own child, isn't it? By getting yourself in a good place now.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds crazy to think about that, but it's gonna, potentially it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you changing yourself now can have a great effect on your children.
Yeah, I do worry about having unhealthy children or passing down celiacs. But celiacs is something you can cope with. It's easy enough now. And everybody's on this fad diet anyway, that gluten-free is healthy.
I've actually got some little questions here to ask you for fun. Just what I'm thinking about is, Harriet, during our journey together, if you could talk a little bit about bone density.
Yeah.
Tell the story for people, because that was so interesting.
Yeah.
Because we've been pushing, resistance training increases bone density. We know that. We can't pretty much argue that fact. But you've actually had tests, so just tell the story. That would be really interesting for people.
Okay, so another symptom of celiac is osteoporosis.
Porosis.
Yeah. And I got tested because they test you when you've got celiac. They give you a DEXA scan, which scans your bones to see what your bone density is. And I had osteopenia, which is the step before osteoporosis. So my bones were brittle. I think at like 21 I got told I got the bones of a 60-year-old.
Right.
And that's when I first started getting into weight training. And then I met you, and then I had a test back last year, wasn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
And yeah, my bone density is fantastic now. I've no longer got osteopenia.
So basically it's normal to an extent.
Yeah, and that's because I've been lifting weights, been lifting heavy, eating right. And I was supposed to take calcium tablets, but I'm really rubbish, so I remember to take them. So, and you have to chew them, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. Like, taking your magnesium and everything's nice and easy, just swallow it. But so yeah, not even using the calcium tablets, just pure resistance training and a good diet.
Which is fantastic because, you know, we kind of know and we teach that resistance training, weight training builds bone density from the studies, but you don't get a first-hand experience a lot of the time with people. And for you having a DEXA scan and physically seeing that your bones are now normal, it's huge. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
So yeah, that's just such a nice thing to know.
Yeah.
So right, so I've got a few little questions here for you. This is some fun things, okay? And I just want your response to this. Okay, so gluten. I'm sure a little will not hurt you. What's your response to that?
If we're at that house, go to your toilet later and find out how much.
So these questions are stupid people that don't understand what being a celiac is all about.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm sure a little will not hurt you.
Yeah. How much of a punch in the face hurt you?
Exactly right. A little does hurt you.
One breadcrumb can ruin everything.
So yeah, really? but bread makes me, but Harriet, bread makes me bloated too.
Surely it can't be that bad. It's just bread.
Oh, people do. They're like, oh no, I think I've got celiac because I get a bit bloated after eating bread. I'm like, probably eating a whole loaf wasn't a great idea, was it?
If people say to me they're gluten intolerant, I ask them, I say, you know, if you have a piece of toast, how do you feel afterwards? Well, I'm fine with a piece of toast.
Yeah,
well, you're not gluten intolerant then.
Yeah.
You know, you're just eating too much carbohydrate, basically.
Yes, I can't even have some normal gravy, the gravy granules. I have to have Bisto's Best because it's gluten free, but the normal one, you know, the one that peasants use, that's got gluten in it, and I know if I've had that.
Right.
So, yeah, one slice of toast, that'd ruin me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm not celiac, but I cheat at weekends. What's your response to that one?
Oh, I don't know, you cheat on your boyfriend as well.
Again, people, they say they're celiac and they cheat at weekends. If you're celiac, there is no cheating.
There's no cheating.
So some people think it's a way of eating then.
People think it's a healthy lifestyle. You're like, really?
I'm going celiac this weekend.
And to follow up that, everyone is celiac nowadays, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still eat cake. And I guess people spend loads of like gluten-free substitutes are so expensive. So people are like, oh, I'm celiac, so I've bought all these gluten-free substitutes. And I'm like, but it's not going to make you lose weight. There's loads more sugar in those. Probably going to get fatter.
So that follows my next one.
The only reason celiacs lose weight is because they're literally ill every time they eat food. They can't keep it in.
So, next one. I'm eating healthy as I'm eating gluten-free products. How many times have you heard that?
All the time. Walk down the gluten-free section now, and I'm like, oh, you know, little nod. Celiac and all. No, I'm doing it because it's healthy. I'm like, you chase them down the aisle.
So eating gluten-free is not healthy, is it at all?
It's not healthy.
They are processed products, aren't they, at the end of the day?
Cutting out processed food is healthy. Swapping up gluten for gluten-free food, it's not healthy. There's more sugar. There's more. How do you think they make it taste nice?
Yeah,
They
of
put
course.
crap in it.
Yeah, of course.
You read the ingredients list and you don't even know what half the words mean. That's when you shouldn't eat food.
And the last one, I'm on a gluten-free diet to lose weight.
Good luck.
So what do you think about that?
Me on a gluten-free diet, I gain weight. I've gained weight since finding out. That's where you have a gluten-free diet to make you healthy again. And nearly all celiacs, when they're first diagnosed, they're underweight. So it's not going to make you lose weight.
No. But they're common things we hear from people, aren't they?
All the
I know
time.
we've had a little giggle with this in the past. You know, gluten-free is healthy. People buy gluten-free products because they think it's healthy. I mean,
It's
it's extremely unhealthy. And
Yeah.
why would they do that? Just eat meat and vegetables. It's not complicated.
It's just stupid people with stupid ideas.
Mm.
They're not being educated. They're not looking at it, and they're not understanding. They just think, oh, it's another fad diet, so let's do that.
We know no one understands food anyway.
Because it's got diet in it. Everyone's like, oh, it's got to be healthy. It's a diet. No, it's a way of life that I have to live, but because it's called a gluten-free diet, they're like, oh, it's got to be good.
It doesn't matter what we find with humans, people. They find something and they have to take it to the extreme. So all of a sudden, it's trendy to be gluten-free, and we all sitting at the table, we all hate that.
Yeah.
It's trendy to be gluten-free, so all these gluten-free products are coming out, and people are buying gluten-free because they think it's healthy. It's like the next, as you're saying, it's like a diet program or a fat loss diet program, and it's nothing to do with that.
No, it's nice when I go shopping now, because if I do want a little treat, something gluten-free, so at Christmas I like to buy the gluten-free mince pies. They're a lot cheaper because there's a lot more demand for it because of stupid people. But when you go out to a restaurant and you ask for a gluten-free menu, they literally ask you now, are you gluten-free or are you actually coeliacs? And like, they roll their eyes and you're like, I'm actually coeliacs, do not poison me. Because so many people are on a fad diet. And people will turn around the restaurant and be like, oh no, I'm just gluten-free. No need for it.
I say people take that because this gluten thing's, it's got very trendy.
Yeah.
People just take that to the extremes, and it could be anything. It could be green coffee beans. People here, they might lose weight and they'll take that on.
That skinny coffee.
That does sound pretty cool though. Green
Aloe
coffee.
vera,
Drink some sun cream.
drink some sun cream that's going to make you lose
Of course
weight.
you're going to lose weight. You're going to shit your body out.
Yeah. So people just take something to the extremes because they're always looking for that magic pill, and there is no magic pill.
It frustrates me.
And
It does.
gluten's just another one of them. People think reducing gluten, and gluten does have an effect on a lot of people. But if you're not intolerant to it, you can eat it.
And it's a protein that you need. It is a protein in the gluten, and you need it. Like with everything else that you eat, it does good for your body if you can handle it. Unfortunately, I've not mutated to be able to handle this.
No. The same with milk at the moment. I realise you're lactose intolerant. Cade is a complete opposite, and he drinks gallons of milk, has no effect on him at all. But I think about 70% of people are lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
And it's, in the minute now, everyone's knocking milk, which I get and I understand, but let's face it, milk has also been fantastic for so many people that were lacking nutrition, and getting all that great quality nutrition from milk is saved many lives as well.
It seems that in nature, milk is something that a calf would have when they're a baby. When they grow up, they stop. They have grass and stuff. But maybe it's the same for humans. Perhaps you're meant to have it when we're
the only
child.
mammals that actually drink another mammal's milk.
True.
That's right. We are. Yeah, that's very true.
Everybody started off lactose intolerant, but we've mutated as we've gone on. People have got used to it. But then there's a big handful of people that they can't tolerate it. We don't produce the lactase to break down the lactose. It's literally the sugar in the milk.
And I think it's literally where you're born, isn't it? It's genetics, or where you stem from. So if you come from a background where people drank a lot of milk,
Africans,
they're all lactose intolerant. Yeah, but there's one tribe in Africa that have been farming. They've been farming for a long time, and they can drink milk without any problem at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about genetics to an extent. If you can, like Cade, I say, drinks a lot of milk, has no effect on your stomach at all.
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot of milk, but I can drink it without any issues. So it's the same. Going back to gluten, the same with gluten. If it doesn't affect you, then don't worry about it. Don't discontinue eating gluten just because you think it's healthy or it's going to help you lose weight. It won't.
If you cut it out, you will get an intolerance to it when you put it back in.
I like that. It's a very valid point. I think a lot of people are doing that. We found just generally, Cade and I, we eat pretty much healthy all the time, and we find that if we have, we have moments we'll eat some junk food. Let's call it junk food, but we'll eat some junk food every now and then because we fancy it. But we do find that it upsets our stomach the following day. And we've had this conversation. I did not want to be that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to take pizza out of my diet. I enjoy eating pizza every now and then. But really valid point. And people they take so much out of their diet, there's nothing left. And anything they eat upsets the guts.
Yeah. I'm the same. I don't eat fast food because it's too risky, and I just cut it all out. There's certain things I can have, so I can have McDonald's fries. But when I have them, because of the oil they're fried in, because I don't eat fast food anymore, I get stomachache just
Yeah.
because of the oil. And
Happens
that's
to us
because I've
as
cut it
well.
out.
I think that everyone has to build a foundation at some point earlier on in their life. Because I think a lot of people now try something new later on. Their stomach doesn't know what the hell it is. It's like, how do I handle this?
If you eat a lot of vegetables when you don't normally eat vegetables, you're going to get tummy ache.
Exactly, yeah. Your
You're
stomach's-
not allergic to vegetables.
It's alien to your stomach. It doesn't have to. So you have to have that foundation when you're younger. Otherwise, what the hell's going to happen when you later on in life? You're going to have these intolerances.
So that comes back to balance again, doesn't it?
It is.
What
It's
we say
always-
with a
always
diet
balance,
it is balance. It's getting a balance of all the food groups to an extent. If something upsets you, then obviously don't eat it. But if you take it out long term, as you're saying, Harriet, trying to introduce it again can cause problems. And why would you want to do that? So I enjoy pizza every now and then. If I completely took it out for a year,
You wouldn't be able to go back.
I would, it'd mess me up terribly. It's not something I want to do all the time, but I do enjoy it every now and then.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we eat very well. And we've, as you know, Harriet, you've been a client of ours for a couple of years. We're very sensible about our diet, and we say to people, you can't, clean eat all the time. We're in a world now where there's lots of good tasting foods out there.
You can't get away from it.
And you mentioned yourself, Harriet, if you want a treat, at least now you can get a gluten-free treat.
Yeah.
And tick that little treat box. It keeps you happy.
Yeah. I think, like you say, shouldn't brand food good and bad foods, and
No, it's true. You
you
shouldn't.
can enjoy things and you won't become intolerant to things.
Yeah, there's not many foods inherently bad for you. There are some, of course. I mean,
Processed is the word to
yeah,
use.
trans fats
Processed.
are not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But generally, in moderation, anything's fine. Or if you go to extremes or anything, as we say, Cal, you drink enough water, you're going to drown. So I think it is getting that balance for the foods, and it's the same for yourself, even though you're celiac.
Yeah. I enjoy food. I love food. I'm such a foodie.
Yeah, it was good.
Which is a good thing, yeah.
And that's why why you're here today, Harriet, for that reason, where you are celiac and you still embrace food and love it, and you're not saying poor me. I'm a celiac, poor me. You've gone completely opposite. And one of the things you said to me is, I'm celiac, but I love food, and I can't eat that, but it's fine because I can eat this, and this is how I make it, and this is what I do, and I love that passion in it, and that's what we wanted to get across today. That being a celiac,
It's not the end of the world.
as you said, you don't want to even call it disease. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah.
and you have to make changes. But once you make those changes, life is still awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, celiac's not a bad thing to have. When you first get diagnosed, you think, oh my God, my life's over. Can't eat anything, can't go. But everywhere now, they're a lot more accommodating. If you are going to eat the gluten-free substitutes, a lot better. And you learn how to cook for yourself. And you learn food is actually delicious.
Yeah.
Well, you do. When we again, we have this conversation a lot. This is our job. We talk about it all the time. But if you eat a lot of processed foods for years and years, the analogy we use is taking it back to a smoker. I've never smoked, but you hear smokers when they stop smoking,
Can't taste
they
anything.
can taste food again. They're like, oh my God. But have you noticed, like when we do our cuts? So Harriet has done. She's been on we call it a cut. So she's been on a extreme fat loss diet to get very lean, and we say during the cut when we come out, we don't grab like a McDonald's or anything like. We grab an apple or a tomato, and the flavours just burst. Because when you take those processed foods out, you literally get those taste buds back again.
Yeah, it's like you're wiping a layer of fat off your tongue, really, so
Yeah.
you can taste everything.
Yeah.
That film
It's like a
of
bit
grease.
of a detox,
Yeah.
real thing.
And that's the same thing. It's like when you do take those processed foods out. I mean, I remember when we were cutting and when we dropped, we were dropping carbohydrates. I can remember chewing on vegetables and having some like cherry tomatoes, and I never tasted something so good. It was like a little cherry tomato. Oh my God, this is so tasty!
Feeling pop in your mouth.
Yeah, it's right. So it's just getting that taste back. But right, so I think we've pretty much covered everything. Are we all happy?
Yeah. Oh, there was
I'm
one
happy.
more funny
Yeah,
thing
go
that
on,
friends
go.
do say. So I don't see my friends for a while. They're like, I'm going to go stay at their house. Well, what can you eat? You can't eat anything. Can you eat potatoes? Can you eat vegetables? And for God's sake. And that's
Well-
another one I always get.
You'd be pleased to hear that you're after the podcast. We've arranged lunch for you,
Yay.
and you're having steak. I think with some sweet potato and
Yeah.
vegetables.
Lovely.
So that's lunch after the podcast to say thank
That
you.
was your
for,
reward for coming
Yeah,
on the
for
show.
sharing your
Thanks.
time with us
Get
today.
some food.
Where's
You're
my
fed.
waffles as well?
She likes her gluten-free waffles we make
Calm down,
for
our
her.
budget isn't that high.
Yeah,
Jeez.
next time.
Next time, I'll come back.
Alright guys, well that was Harriet. Good talk, dude.
Thanks, Harriet. We do
was
appreciate
nice.
you being here.
Thank you for having me. I've calmed down now.
All right, guys. So we'll get back. We've been very busy this week. We'll try and get back with another podcast soon.
Next week's going to be nice and quiet for us, hopefully. So we should be able to crank out some more episodes for you to listen to. But that'll be it for us today. And we wish you a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye!